In 1940, German officers walked into La Pyramide, the finest restaurant in France at the time, and demanded to be served lunch. The chef walked over to the window, pulled down the shade, and told them the restaurant's permanently closed. He then walked back into his kitchen and turned off the stove. He lived to tell the story. The restaurant, La Pyramide in the Vienne, just south of Lyon, reopened after the war and got its 3 Michelin stars back and carried on. The man who turned that stove off was Fernand. This is Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Pryor. Enchanté. And this is the story of Fernand. Born in Burgundy in 1897 into a family of innkeepers trained in some of the finest kitchens in Paris, Cannes and Evian, the chef who refused to let his cooks use yesterday's sauces and started every morning with absolutely nothing on the stove, the man who trained Paul Bocuse, the Trois brothers and Alain Chapelle, and who drank a magnum of champagne every single day, apparently, while being shaved by a barber in his restaurant in the garden. There's a lot to get through, so let's go. Fernand is one of those names that most people outside of France have never really even heard of, probably, despite being one of the most influential chefs of the 20th century. Born in 1897 in Lyon, in Burgundy, he spent 30 years running a restaurant called La Pyramide in the small city of Vienne, just south of Lyon. He was the first chef to hold 3 Michelin stars continuously for more than 2 decades. And the chefs he trained, Paul Bocuse, the Trois brothers, Alain Chapelle, went on to create Nouvelle Cuisine and defined French dining for the rest of the century. His approach was simple and pretty radical for its time, actually. Fresh ingredients, nothing cooked the day before, butter used generously, and an obsession with getting the smallest things right. The gastronome, Gnoski, called La Pyramide the summit of culinary art. The playwright, Sacha Guitry, made a pun about him that still gets repeated in France today. To eat well in France, a point is everything. End of sentence. Fernand was born on the 25th of February in 1897 in Lyon, a small market town in the Saône-et-Loire department, in the heart of Burgundy's Bresse region. He was the only son of Auguste Point and his wife Josephine Aubry. His father ran the buffet restaurant at the Lyon railway station, and his mother and grandmother did the cooking, a family that fed people for a living. Growing up in Bresse shaped Point in ways that never left him. It's the homeland of the poulet de Bresse, the finest chicken in all of France. And it's serious dairy country too, full of good butter and good cream. Point grew up around exceptional ingredients, handled every day by people who actually knew what they were doing with them. From the age of 10, he was in the kitchen with his mother and grandmother, watching, helping, picking things up long before any formal training began. His famous line later in life, "Butter, give me butter, always butter," makes a lot more sense once you've known where he grew up. At 14, Point started the French apprenticeship system, and the list of places he trained reads like a tour of the best kitchens in France at the time. Restaurant Fouillot in Paris, the Hotel Bristol, the Majestic in Cannes, and finally the Hotel Royal in Evian-le-Bon, near the Swiss border where he worked alongside Georges Bocuse, father of the future Paul Bocuse. This is where he properly absorbed the precision and the market-driven approach of Lyonnaise cuisine that he later built his whole restaurant around. Worth saying, All of this training happened during and just after the First World War. Point was called up to the 48th Artillery Regiment in 1916 and wasn't demobilised until 1990. In 1922, his father, Auguste, bought a hotel restaurant in the Vienne, a city south of Lyon, on the Rhone, with serious Roman history. He bought it largely for Fernand. When Auguste died in 1925, Fernand took over at just 28 years of age and renamed it La Pyramide, after a nearby Roman monument that was shaped like an obelisk. On the 14th of March in 1931, Point married Marie-Louise Poulin, known to everyone as Maddo. She was from Ardèche, warm and properly switched on. She ran the front of the restaurant, whilst Fernand ran the kitchen. She handled the bookings, the service, the purchasing, and a lot of the atmosphere that made eating at La Pyramide feel like being welcomed into someone's home. They adopted a daughter, Marie-Josée. When Fernand died in 1955, Maddo kept running the place and kept the 3 stars going without interruption until her own death in 1986. That's 31 years on her own, running a 3-star Michelin restaurant. If you love discovering the very best places to eat, wander, and indulge in Paris, then I have something rather delicious for you. My book, Paris, a fabulous food guide to the world's most delicious city, has just been nearly updated and it's bigger and better than ever. The new edition includes over 100 additional pages exploring the history of food in Paris, so you can understand not just where to eat, but why Paris has become the gastronomic capital of the world in the first place. Alongside my favourite boulangeries, patisseries, fromageries, wine bars, markets, restaurants, and a few hidden gems, you'll now also find dedicated sections for vegan and vegetarian dining, beautiful food with a view spots for those unforgettable meals, and even a special highlighted of locations featured in Emily in Paris. So yes, you can dine where Emily dined and sit where Emily sipped. It's the guide I wish I'd had when I first started exploring Paris, full of personal recommendations, trusted addresses, and the kind of places that make you close your eyes after the first bite. Yum. And you can order your copy directly from my website at andrewpryorfabulously.com. It's a gorgeous gift for the food lover in your life. It's also available on Amazon, and if you prefer to shop locally, simply ask your favourite independent bookshop to order it in for you. Supporting local bookshops is always a fabulous idea. So, if a trip to Paris is on your horizon, or you simply want to dream about one from your kitchen table, Paris, a fabulous food guide to the world's most delicious city, is your delicious companion. La Pyramide under Point became something nobody had really seen before. It picked up its first Michelin star within 5 years, and in 1933 it was one of the first 23 restaurants in France awarded 3 stars at once, alongside Eugène Brazier and Marie Bourget, among others. It held those 3 stars for more than 50 years, with the only gap being the war. The restaurant sat right on the Route Nationale 7, the main road south from Paris to the Riviera, so it became a proper destination stop. The New York Times noted on the day Point died that the cars parked outside were as international as the flags of the United Nations. Heads of state, actors, writers, gourmets from all over the world made a detour to the Vienne just to eat there. The Aga Khan was a regular, and when he gave Point a Persian terracotta pitcher as a gift, Point invented a dessert for him in return. Prunes soaked in port, simmered in Bordeaux wine, served cold with cream and presented in a pitcher next time the Aga Khan visited. His approach to the kitchen was genuinely different for the time. Most great French restaurants back then made sauces in advance, kept stocks going day to day, and used shortcuts. Poix banned all of that. Every morning, he said, the cook starts again at zero, with nothing on the stove. He'd go through the storerooms himself to make sure that nobody had hidden away yesterday's stock reduction. Everything was made fresh that day, and he went to the market himself to choose it. Then he'd come back, sit in the garden, open a magnum of champagne, yes, a magnum, every single day apparently, which is why people called him the Magnum, and get shaved by a barber who came in specially. Then he'd go to work. What he's most remembered for, beyond the stars and the restaurant, is who he trained. Paul Bocuse arrived at Le Pyramide in 1946 and always credited Poix with teaching him to respect the raw ingredient above everything else. The Trois Gros brothers spent nearly 2 years there before opening their own place. Alain Chapelle trained there too. Poix taught by example more than instruction. He'd cook a dish up to 100 times before he'd even put it on the menu. And he expected the same from everybody in his kitchen. His tests for new recruits was simple. Fry an egg. They'd start and he'd stop them. Take the pan himself, melt the butter on a very low heat, slip the egg in, cover it and cook it, slowly until the white had just set and the yolk was still liquid. That's how it's done, he'd say. It was through Bocuse, Chapelle and the Trois Gros brothers that Poix's way of thinking fed directly into the Nouvelle Cuisine movement of the 60s and 70s. Fernand Poix was a giant of a man, in every sense, physically, intellectually, and in terms of personality. He stood over 6 feet tall, weighed somewhere between 300 and 370 pounds, depending on the source, and had a waistline of 66 inches apparently. He was jovial, eccentric, and a perfectionist, entirely uncompromising. He loved fast cars and he drove them through the French countryside with the same enthusiasm he brought to everything else in his life. He began each morning with roast chicken and champagne. He smoked cigars throughout the day, and he held court in his restaurant with the ease of a man who understood that hospitality was not a service, but a gift. He expected his guests to surrender themselves to the experience. At La Pyramide, you did not order your entire meal. Poix would advise on some courses and insist on others. Nobody objected. As one guest recalled, dining there was like going to gala opera opening. The food gained in intensity as the meal progressed, the wines becoming older and more full-bodied as the evening deepened. Because as Poix himself told the writer, Joseph Welschberg, over a legendary lunch, a good meal must be as well constructed as a good play. He set the table with Limoges porcelain and Baccarat crystal. He was in all things the absolutist. And in his last 5 years of his life, when doctors forbade him from rich food and champagne that he had drunken every day for decades, he was, by all accounts, a sad-faced man. The restrictions of illness sat very badly on a person built entirely for appetite. A couple of things that are worth adding that we haven't touched on yet. Ma Gastronome was published in 1969, 14 years after Poix's death, pulled together by Madot from his handwritten notes, his sketches and his recipes, over 200 of them in total. It had also included tributes from people who had dined at Le Pyramide over the years, including Colette and Jean Cocteau. The book has never gone out of print and has been republished multiple times since, including a 2008 English edition with a new introduction by the American chef Thomas Keller, who said reading it gave him a higher sense of purpose in his own cooking. Marco Pierre White has named it his favourite cookbook. Fergus Henderson has said Poix is somebody he would have loved to have had lunch with. Poix's peers apparently simply called him Le Roi, the king. And today, if you go to Vienne, you'll find a boulevard, Fernand Poix, named in his honour. And La Pyramide is still there, still cooking under Chef Patrick Henry, who wrote the foreword to the most recent French edition of Ma Gastronome in 2022. Fernand Poix died on the 4th or 5th of March in 1955. Accounts differ by a day. He died from a stroke in Vienne. He was 58. He's buried in the Pipet cemetery there. Maddo kept the restaurant going for another 31 years, never losing the 3 stars until she died in 1986. Their daughter, Marie-José, ran it briefly before it was sold. The tributes that followed Poix's death and the ones that have accumulated in the decades since are remarkable for their consistency. Everybody who encountered him that ate at La Pyramide or trained under him seems to have changed by the experience in some permanent and specific way. Ganoski, the most celebrated gastronome in France, called La Pyramide the summit of culinary art. Sacha Guitry made his immortal pun, "To eat well in France, à point is everything." The writer, Joseph Welchberg, who lunched there and wrote about it in Blue Trout and Black Truffles, said that whenever he thought back to that lunch, he felt contentedly well fed, and that the memory of it alone seemed almost enough to sustain life. Paul Bocuse said that his mentor had taught him to guard the integrity of the raw product above all else. And Charlie Trotter, one of the greatest American chefs of his generation, called Ma Gastronome the most important cookbook ever written. Not one of the most important, the most important. From a man whose notebooks were compiled after his death by his widow from scattered notes and kitchen jottings. That is the legacy of Fernand Poix, the father of modern French cuisine, a man who asked for nothing more than butter, freshness, patience, and perfection. And he got all for all. Before we finish, a quick word. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support the show, the best things that you can do are leave a review and a rating on whatever platform you're listening to right now. It takes about 30 seconds and it makes an enormous difference to how many people find the podcast. So if Fernand Poix's story moved you at all, please do that. Merci beaucoup. You can also find me on Instagram at Andrew Pryor Fabulously. That's where I share French food history, fun facts, behind the scenes life in rural France, and all the things that, well, don't quite fit into an episode. If you'd rather watch than listen, the full video episodes are on YouTube and Spotify. The same stories, the same food, just with my face attached. And finally, I have a Substack. It's free to subscribe or paid if you'd like to support the show and get a little more of everything fabulously delicious. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to andrewpryorfabulously.com for more details. Et voila. That's the end of today's episode of Fabulously Delicious. If this episode made you hungry, happy, or suddenly Googling flights to France, then parfait. If you enjoyed it, leave a review, share it with a fellow food lover, and come say bonjour. I always love hearing from you. Until next time, eat well, stay curious, and remember, life, it's actually better with butter. Well, that's what Fernand Poix thought. And as I always say, whatever you do it fabulously. Merci beaucoup, bon app, et à très bientôt.